Hello everyone, hope you're well. This is CoinsKid, just coming out to Bitcoin. Big of the CoinsKid crew, thank you for tuning in, thank you for your support, and thank you for your subscription on YouTube. If you're not already subscribed, please do smash that subscription button right now. So at the moment, everyone's freaking out. You know, we've got people calling for 20k, 3k, 7k, things like that. But at the moment, I don't see any sort of concerning price action here for Bitcoin, other than the fact that we're just going sideways. There is a potential ABC zigzag correction, and this is something I did anticipate with alternation of the wave 2. Last year, I think, was from April into September right there. We had that wave 2 ABC flat correction. It was an expanded flat correction where the B wave made a bull trap high, and the confluence was in many other charts that I've shown you that the next wave up from that bottom would indeed be a third wave. Okay, so a lot of people think we're still in this third wave. That's absolutely possible. If we do break out again, then I do expect a big correction here for Bitcoin at some point. Okay, but the thing, I think what we've got at the moment is confluence in the altcoins that the wave 4 correction has began in March of this year. So I'll go through this with you. At the moment, the CKR is sitting at 61. Floating that neutral territory almost, sort of coming down into this yellow zone right now, which is neutral for me. I think it's an opportunity in a bull market. We've got all these indicators that are calling off: RSI 67, retail 31, EMA 5, DXY 79, Pi cycle 73, and AI is telling us that we're in a neutral spot right now, according to all the data that it's analysing. So let me dive into a couple of charts right now to show you why I do think that this particular bull run in risk will continue once we find the bottom of this correction. And again, like I've always said to you, C waves are nasty, corrections are nasty, they shake people out. But in my opinion, just like this sort of sideways flat correction, we pinpointed the bottom on the 5 waves of death down there with a bump and run pattern. Beautiful little entry point, so if you're paying attention, I will hopefully find this sweet little spot for you. There's a potential long loading in the charts right now. I'll show you that as well. So let's dive into the charts, okay, see what we can see. So taking a look at the DXY firstly, I'll go through a couple of charts with you today for confluence. The reason why I do think we'll see a continuation of this bull run unless we see the data to suggest otherwise. I think what we're looking for is resistance in a DXY and support for Bitcoin. There is equally another chart that no one's looking at, which I will show you that we're in a technical target on that particular chart, which is why I do think we're looking for this bull market to continue. On the hourly time frame, we've got a lovely little rising wedge here. We're broke down patterns of resistance, and right now we're dropping. But the one thing we're not doing at the moment is dropping with inverse correlation, because Bitcoin is still coming down the stairs. So I think that what we've got here, and I did talk about this in a recent video, that I think this has been a wave 4 and this is the final 5th wave coming down. So we need to look at that on the hourly time frame to see if we can see 5 waves right there, and that last little leg to the downside, which will increase the probability of this coming up and the probability of this coming down. Because like I said to you, if this starts to attack this green line, the DXY, then in theory we should have a lovely little cheat code, a looking glass, that gives us a clue to a long opportunity for Bitcoin right there, because the DXY is rolling. Really, really simple technical analysis. I did show you this the other day in confluence why I would entertain some long positions because of the confluence and inverse correlation of the DXY, which is something we look at to ride the waves basically. So I'll go through this with you. When this was toppy all the way here, this was beginning to come back up the stairs, okay? When this was toppy all the way here on this trend line, look at this red trend line. As this started to break down here, this is where Bitcoin came back up the stairs. Really, really simple. And right now we're getting a little bit toppy on this red trend line again. We've got 3 points of resistance of a potential hourly broadening ascending wedge, which is a bearish reversal pattern. So in theory, we should be looking for 5 waves down here with the counter of the resistance of the DXY, which has increased the probability of a turnaround. So we'll zoom into the hourly time frame in a moment, because I don't necessarily think we've seen 5 waves just yet for Bitcoin, okay? So if we continue to drop here for the DXY and attack that green line, just like we did here, then in theory, Bitcoin should flourish as it comes back down to support, okay? So I think that at the moment we are caught in a bearish pattern for the DXY, which gives us a clue that, Bitcoin should be inversely correlating going up the stairs. Really, really simple. Broadening ascending wedge, bearish pattern, okay? And like I said to you, the rejection off there, got a lovely little rising channel, rising wedge, breakdown, back test of resistance, and right now it looks as though, taking the foot off the gas for the DXY right now. So if this does start to drop like this, loses this green trend line, then boom, this is the vertical that exists in the Bitcoin chart. The correction's over basically. So we'll go through that with you right now. I'll dive into another chart right now quickly before I dive into the Bitcoin chart to show you why I do think that this bull run will continue, okay? So take a look at this chart then. It's the S&P 500. I think it holds all the clues, and I've been showing you this for a very, very long time. When people are really, really bearish on this drawdown, this overlapping corrective waves, like I said to you, it's corrective. I anticipated a new all-time high for the S&P 500 against a herd mentality, the naysayers, the macro reply guys, it's not enough money, not enough liquidity, war, Ukraine, things like that. I just said to you, I don't pay attention to any of that. I just think it's in the charts. There's a new all-time high in the charts here. So I remember, this particular signal here, this data point, the buy and go to the beat signal from CoinsKid, the 20 and 55 EMA golden cross right there. That was a beautiful signal that I relayed to you way back in May of 2023, that I did think, given that signal, historical data suggests that once we create that signal, we never lose a low, but we go on to break the high. So there's an increased probability that that was going to break the high. We're going to make a new all-time high. And against all the herd mentality, the naysayers, the reply guys, boom, we made that high. So basically, I think what we've got in this chart is a continuation here, a cheat sheet basically. We've got a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern because we got rejected right on the neckline as anticipated. We came back, held this structural high low, and right now we're coming up the stairs here. So I think we're looking for continuation, and the cheat code is the fact that we are in a technical target to that white line right there at 5865. Now, like I've said to you, I think that once we get there in this huge run up here, once we do get there, I think the market's cooked, okay? And I think at that point we've got a big impulsive move in the risk, basically the stock index of, you know, the S&P 500 right there, and then boom, we're in for a monumental bear market. So obviously if it gets there, I'll honestly think about selling all my position and everything that I've got, and I'll relay that message to you because we're meeting a technical target that we're in, and you know, that's it. It's just simple data and technical analysis. So I think that, you know, the cheat code still remains within this chart. The invalidation going forward, obviously if we start to break down, lose structure, fall under the EMAs, then yeah, we're looking bearish and have to address that situation. We're not necessarily going to get to that target, but what we have done, if you take a look, beautiful inverse head and shoulders pattern, confluence of that neckline, look at that, broke out. Now one thing we've not done here is backtest this neckline, so I think that that's a retest that comes in time. Whether or not we have a monumental crash here before continuation, it's absolutely possible right there, absolutely possible. Can't take it off the table, but again, it's all about breaking structure from this point. Okay, if we start to come down here, make a series of lower highs, lower lows and things like that, and obviously start to sweep structure and support, then yeah, you know, we've topped out just there. But I think we've got a cheat code. I think we're in a technical target to 5865. It's not bullshit, it's not hopium, it's simple data and technical analysis and a little bit of confluence, the fact that that is the 1.618 technical target right now that you're in. So you can clearly see you've ramped up into the 1.272 on the S&P. Right now you're having a correction, looking for continuation. These are your next resistance points. I think we top out at 0618, the 1.618, sorry, at 5869 for the S&P 500, and that's always been my target once you took out this one fib way back then. I think when did we take that out? In January of this year. Okay, so at the minute I think we're going through a correction, and this is normal. What goes up must come down. You find support and you continue until you create the structure of a downtrend. So there's a little bit of confluence in this chart at the moment that we will see a continuation of this bull run once this correction's over. Okay, so let's dive into the Bitcoin chart right now and see what we can see. So taking a look at Bitcoin on the hourly time frame, I think we've got an increased probability here of a 5-wave counter with a confluence of the DXY as well running over, you know, and then the S&P 500 finding that level of support right there, and then just a little relief rally. If not, you know, the bottom's in but right now. So I'm looking for confirmation of the bottom by breaking this red line. But at the minute, I think we've got a potential 5-wave counter. Now, in my opinion, this is a massive third wave. Look at this, a big waterfall. If you take a look here, we've got some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that was a big third wave. Okay, we've got a 1 into a 2. This was a 3. Right now, as I expected, a wave 4 correction coming back up. This is why I did say to you, I'm removing my stops here because I'm looking for a final little flush down here, some kind of 5-wave structure coming down. So we've got some kind of 1, 2, into a 3, into a 4, into a final little move to the downside, build some lovely little spot positions and long positions, increase the probability of 5-wave counter basically. You know, whether or not it's an ABC coming back up before continuation, time will tell, but it's just trading. It's an opportunity, you know, to ride the wave. So my minimal target will be that double top drop just there. We've got a double top drop for Bitcoin, broke down, and we've not back tested that level of resistance at 69547 for Bitcoin. So you know, the further we come down like this in 5 waves, the more increase the probability of coming back up to that level just there for Bitcoin. Okay, so that's a retest that I'm looking for. Bit of a cheat code, double top drop scenario for Bitcoin, come all the way back down, start to reverse, come back up. So I'll most definitely be looking to lock in some profit on that long right there. So where could we go to on this next little flush down to the downside? So if we take a look at this ABC correction and we have another little move to the downside, I'm looking at 58981 for Bitcoin. Put some little bids in down there and then just ride it back up. And I wish everyone at most luck in this particular trade. Okay, now you can go long, you can go short, you can do whatever you want. You can do all this on Bybit, BitGet, you know, the links are in the video description right there. Take advantage of the sign up bonuses, but you know, like I've always said to you, look for the bullish divergence. We do have one down here on the hourly. We've got one, look at that, beautiful, that's building up in this move to the downside. Lower lows in the candlesticks and higher lows in the RSI. Equally on the 4-hourly time frame as well, we're getting lower lows in the candle bodies, and there may be some kind of falling wedge there, and equally, you know, on the RSI we're getting higher lows as well. So that's increasing the probability of a 5-wave counter long up right now. Not bullshit, not opium, just simple technical data that I'm relaying to you. So equally just there, we may have a little tightening range, a little falling wedge for Bitcoin, and a clue would be once we take this level of resistance out, this white line, it will increase the probability within itself to come back up to that white line. So what we're looking at, if you do start to compress here, have another little drop to the 1.272 at 5891 and start to take out this resistance, then yeah, increased probability of coming back up. Put your stop loss on the previous pivot low once you take out this level of resistance here for Bitcoin. Hope you enjoyed that update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. But we do have 1, 2, 4, 3, 4, 5. So it's increased probability of an ABC coming back up if we're looking for the continuation to the downside. Okay, I understand that update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Take care, everyone. Back to another update on Bitcoin. Bye bye.